Hello and welcome to a special edition of The Big Fight, coming to you live from Delhi. We were supposed to be bringing you a program this week on Khap Panchayats and so-called honor killings, but IPL continues to be the news of the week, the news of the day. Fresh twists and turns almost every hour. So we're going to have to bring that to you this week, and we'll share you the episode of Khap Panchayats next week. The IPL has dominated the headlines all through the week. What started with a simple tweet, then went to see the fall of Shashi Tharoor. Now Lalit Modi is very much in the spotlight, and he may be losing his job on Monday, but he has been saying for the all day long today now, especially on Twitter, that he is not going to go away without a fight. So who else is going to come under the scanner? We've seen politicians coming in, all sorts of names being dragged in. This day, tonight, in the next 1 hour or so, we're going to try and piece together all that's going to be happening in what promises to be a very dramatic 3 or 4 days ahead. Let me start by welcoming the guests whom we have with us on the program. Abhshek Singhvi from the Congress Party is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes, as indeed is Kishore Bhimani, cricket writer and commentator, is going to be joining us from Kolkata. Here in the studio, we have Kirti Azad, Lok Sabha MP of the BJP, but also, of course, we all know you, Kirti, as one of the country's most prolific batsmen of yesteryear. It's great to have you with us here in the studio. Mr. Jayant Lele is somebody who's been associated with the BCCI for more years than perhaps you would care to count at this particular stage. A former secretary of the BCCI. It will be fascinating to get your view on what is probably one of the biggest scandals to actually hit the board in a long time. Rahul Mehra is a lawyer of the Supreme Court. He has lots to say about the BCCI, about the IPL, about the politicians involved, and he's thinking of finding a large number of PILs also, I believe, on all of this, so he will be at some point or the other. Great to have you with us. It's a pleasure to welcome onto the program Dr. S.R. Soni, who's the Vice President of the Rajasthan Cricket Association, former manager of the Indian cricket team. You're known as somebody who's been fairly close to Mr. Lalit Modi in the past at least, but it will be great to get your views on where all of this is headed one way or the other. And last but by no means the least, it's always a great pleasure to have with us Abbas Ali Beg, former cricketer, cricket commentator, certainly one of the most articulate voices we've ever heard on the subject of cricket. I'd also like to ask you at some point whether you think IPL and this scandal is now really damaging the game of cricket, and that's something that we really need to turn to. Harish Salve will also be joining us, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, somebody who has been representing Lalit Modi. But before we go any further, events of the day, and really all of this started with Twitter and perhaps is going to end with Twitter. Lalit Modi's been again active on Twitter for the last couple of hours, and this is the latest tweet that he sent out about 35-40 minutes back. So I'm just going to play it for you. There you have it. This is what Lalit Modi tweeted about 45 minutes or so back. He said, "Wait for the IPL to finish. I will reveal the men who have tried to bring disrepute to the game and how we stop them from doing it." That was Lalit Modi a short while back. Earlier in the day, Lalit also tweeted saying, "People are pressurizing me to resign. I can tell you this will not happen. Let them remove me then." What he's also said is, what we have done has been there for all of you to see for the past 4 years. No one can take that away. He then went on to slam the media as well. He said, "Media is putting stories without verification, which goes to show how the media can misuse their power. Do not get influenced by all of these baseless stories." And finally he said, "Truth will prevail soon. Trial by the media and no chance to present the facts are like the Wild West. Wait and the facts will be delivered." Now Kirti, wait for the IPL to finish and I will reveal the men who have tried to bring disrepute to the game and how we stop them from doing it. What is going to happen on Monday?
Let's hope for the best. At least we hope that the mess that we see in cricket is going to be cleaned. And what he says, the way we've been reading about Lalit, all I can say is it's a case of pot calling the kettle black. And it's a story of Ali Baba and Chalis Chor.
Who's the pot and who's the kettle?
Well, fair enough. We'll come to know on Monday when he comes out with it. But then it's a typical case. We used to read about this book, the story about Ali Baba and Chalis Chor. The Ali Baba was the boss and there were 40 people around him. And one day when they had a problem to distributing their goodies, some of them came up and had a fight, and hence it came into public eye. So all I can simply say is, as a cricketer, I'm a proud cricketer. We won the World Cup in 1983 under Kapil Dev, and I feel really sorry when we come to know about all these things.
Okay, as to Alibaba and Charles Chord, the perception is that a lot of the Charles Chords are actually politicians of one.
Well, let me be. I'm talking with my not with my political hat, but as a cricketer. I simply want to know, how can you just simply only blame Lalit Modi when you have a governing council? You can't say you're not being breastfed by your mother at this age and you're in the IPL council. You are people who are very well renowned professionals. They are ministers in the cabinet and they didn't know what was happening. I mean, how can this be possible? Everything happening under their nose, and Lalit Modi is the scapegoat. Why only Lalit Modi? I pity that fellow, because I feel sorry as to only him is to be reliable, is to be responsible for it, or everybody else around him has to be responsible for it.
Mr. Lele, do you think Lalit Modi is being made the scapegoat almost in this?
I don't think so, because he has been acting like a dictator. There is a committee and he is supposed to call meetings periodically and take decisions in the meeting.
Are you aware of the fact that has anybody ever objected and said that he has not been calling us and the meeting should be convened?
That is where I fully endorse his views.
Correct.
That it is not only Modi who is responsible. It is the entire governing council is responsible. But he has acted in such a way that he has brought disrepute to the BCCI. That is the only thing which...
So your position is that he has brought disrepute to the BCCI, but the others allowed him to do it, so they should also be wrapped in the knuckles. That's your position.
The perception, I mean, the undercurrent of this is that BCCI had some reputation. Who says BCCI ever had a reputation to hold on to? I mean, we know there's a body such as BCCI, full of politicians, full of people who have absolutely never played cricket in their life, people who don't know ABC of cricket, forget about XYZ, and people who have been there for their vested interest. People who are milking the cow, people who want money out of the game, and they say, oh my God, we are here for the love of the game. They make speeches, they say we are honorary, we don't take a single pie. You don't need to take a single pie when millions of dollars and billions of dollars are coming from the backside of the game.
All right, Rahul. We heard you. I'm going to interrupt you. Let me come back to that. Let me come back to that in a minute. What exactly has been happening? Now, you know, whether the BCCI also allowed him to have a free rein. The charges that are now coming up is making the IPL, I mean, you've seen all the slogans, it's been there every day on the ticker, Indian League, Indian, I don't even want to get into some of the other stuff that was spoken about.
I have to say one thing, that IPL has been a roaring success, but collective leadership, collective responsibility should have been there. Like Kirti said about the governing council, I would ask a question. A subcommittee head does everything, and 3 years there's been balance sheet has been made, accounts have been passed, all these franchise owners have been there for 3 years, all 8 franchisees we knew for last 3 years. Everything is that, and suddenly...
When you say, can I just interrupt you? When you are saying the IPL has been a roaring success, yes, you're right. It's been a commercial success. A lot of people have been coming. It has really created a new niche in Indian cricket, and there's no denying that. But the charges are still that it was being run by a nexus of small group of people doing all sorts of shady backdoor deals and making a lot of money for themselves.
This has come out now. What was happening in first 3 years?
Vikram, there's a distinction. It's apparently happening for 3 years, if the charges are to be believed.
I don't think so. Because what I feel, when it came in, whenever there's a concept coming in, even when Islam was brought in, the wife was made Islamic first. So what I'm trying to say, when Lalit brought this concept...
I don't understand what the...
What I'm trying to say is, when Lalit brought this concept, he first talked to the BCCI people, to his friends, to his relatives, and got the concept going. So I know very well that Mr. Malaya, Mukesh Ambani, they were requested by him, let's get on to this concept.
Vikram, the distinction is, the game is good, the format is good, everything concerning the game is good. If there is bad money which is coming into the game, and if there are wrong people into the game, address the problem. Don't brush it under the carpet. Get the bad people out of the game. Get people who have only entrepreneurial skills, and for people who have only money in their mind, get them out.
Okay.
But it's world's envy. It's world's envy, India's pride. IPL.
Fine. Can I just ask you, Mr. Beg?
Can I just...
When you said the IPL has been a roaring success, I want to first ask your view on that. At the end of the day, yes, it has brought a new type of cricket to a large number of people. It's also brought perhaps one of the biggest scandals that we've seen on the name of cricket. At the end of the day, do you think cricket has benefited or been hurt?
Well, I think cricket as such, the name of cricket has been a little eventually badly done by. But I think as a product, as a concept, is a brilliant one. And until this controversy broke out, it seemed as if it was running beautifully. But and the fact that BCCI didn't know anything about it, etc. I can't imagine that BCCI they are on the council.
And the person who's taking the high moral ground is Mr. N. Srinivasan. He was the treasurer, for God's sake, at that time.
I'm going to come to that in a minute. Abhshek Singhvi, can I just turn to you next? We are hearing the fact I just again read out, I just want to read out once again in case anybody missed the beginning of the program, the tweet which has come from Lalit Modi: wait for the IPL to finish, I will reveal the men who have tried to bring disrepute to the game and how we stop them from doing it. Obviously, there are still plenty of skeletons in this cupboard, and at least some of the skeletons that we have out there seem to be perhaps political skeletons. Is there any view that you have on that?
Let me start by saying, Vikram, I haven't seen the rest of the program. I've just joined it, so I don't know what's happened before. But I want to say this, that I'd rather put my faith in the statement of the finance minister. He has unequivocally said this inquiry includes everything, everyone, the entire body. It is activity, act, omission focused. No one will be spared. Let us not try to prejudge the inquiry. The problem in India is that you do want action to be taken. But when action starts, you want immediate instant coffee. It's hardly week, 10 days old. This is, if at all, involving several white-collar crimes. It requires delicate sifting of large volumes of papers, matching. You don't want to have a clumsy result. So let's give it its time to work itself out. I see no reason to be pessimistic, but equally, I do believe that this is something which is definitely requiring a very close regulatory attention. And I think for the future of cricket, for the future of all the good work which BCCI has undoubtedly done, it requires a complete overhaul.
Okay, let me just ask you, Kirti, the political angle for this. Let's just focus on the politics for it, because if names are being named and if fingers are being pointed in certain directions, there are lots of political names in this. And the BJP itself and the opposition has now been asking for a JPC. Fingers have been pointed at least some allies of the Congress party, the NCP, let's name them in particular. But there are other whispers about other people. How big a political scandal is this going to become?
Well, the number of people, politicians involved with the Board of Control for Cricket in India and the IPL subsequently, obviously it's more than what meets the eye. And JPC is required for a simple reason. You must have known in 1999, in 2000, when I raised the issue about match fixing, there was a CBI probe and everything was there and everything else was brushed under the carpet, as just now Rahul said. So if a JPC is there, you have members from all the parties, whether it's from the ruling or the opposition, because people from allied parties, opposition, the ruling party, everybody is involved. Hence, a JPC would be the right thing, time-bound. In 6 months or a year, it should be done, and we should know about the facts. But anyways, I suppose Lalit Modi would do our job on Monday itself. He said that he's going to expose the finals.
Abhishek, is this going to become one of the biggest political scandals in a long time? We've already heard some of the names who are allegedly behind proxy holdings of various times. And I tell you, these are only the names that are out in the public domain. If you hear some of the names that are being rumored about quietly behind closed doors, it's enough to make your toenails curl. I'm not mentioning them right now because obviously there's no evidence or proof. But you've heard some of the names, I'm sure.
Well, Vikram, let me first of all redefine it. I don't think it's right to call it a political scandal. There is no
it could become a political scandal.
This is a scandal. Just let me complete. This is clearly a very serious scandal involving money, where people who are doing that skullduggery on money also happen to be, possibly some of them, public men or politicians. It is not involving political parties in that sense. I in fact would not deign to comment as a political party on this subject, but for the fact that it involves alleged allegations of corruption, which are a matter of public interest. On the JPC, a quick point, Vikram. It's ultimately for the government to take a decision, and in a sense for Parliament, and I don't think we should preempt that. But speaking in a kind of a personal capacity, I would say this, and I'm not speaking for the government's ultimate decision. In the ultimate analysis, punitive, coercive action powers lie only with statutory regulatory bodies like FERA, IT, etc. JPC has no such powers, please keep that in mind. Number two, while the JPC is not a substitute for that action, The very existence of a GPC might well act as an inhibitor on that action, on real, solid, punitive action.
Okay.
And thirdly, the past record of JPCs has not been very, very great or inspiring.
Okay, fine. Abhishek, before we go any further, a lot of this is essentially about shadowy proxy holdings, or at least those are the charges. And as a result, people are wondering, are stakes being held in the names of various other people? And let's face it, some of the teams that have been spoken about more, actually, perhaps by coincidence, happen to be teams that are also linked with some of the most prominent film stars, whether it's Shah Rukh Khan, Preeti Zinta, Chandra is another team that's come up. We're now being joined live in the program by Jay Mehta, who's of course one of the owners of Kolkata Knight Riders. Jay, you've been hearing all these rumors, speculation, and lots of questions and insinuations about holdings and proxy holdings. Isn't one of the best things to do to just come out and be absolutely clear as to what the holdings in every company are, who eventually has every stake, and then there'll be no more questions?
Hi Vikram. I think, this thing has been really in the news continuously, and as far as KKR is concerned, we've I've given out a press statement as to what the holding pattern is, but it still keeps coming up on and on and on. So we're very clear that there are two shareholders in our company. There's Shah Rukh and Gauri Khan own 55%, and my family, through Sea Island Investments Limited, own 45%. It's a Mauritius-based company. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the Mehta International Limited, which is our family holding company, on which my father is the chairman. And it's very clear, and I don't know what this controversy is all about.
So Jay, you're saying that you can provide evidence of every single share that is held in KKR, and you're saying it's entirely held either by Shah Rukh or by you, Shah Rukh Gauri or by you?
Yes, absolutely.
So there are no Benami holdings, no proxy holdings, no politicians holding anything, and
nothing
you can prove
whatsoever.
that.
Nothing whatsoever. We filed our papers with the ROC, as we're supposed to. Any change in shareholding, even between promoters or whatever, has been registered with the BCCI. And as far as we're concerned, who are we supposed to prove this to? If the authorities ask us, what is your shareholding pattern, we're more than willing to give it. I'm willing to say it in public, and that's it. There's nothing else to this.
So when the authorities did come and ask questions and raided, were you able to give them the ownership pattern to their satisfaction?
We did give them the ownership pattern, yes. Now whether it's their satisfaction or not, God only knows.
Okay, Jay Mehta, thanks a lot for joining us with that clarification. It was, and I think the more and more transparency that there is, the better it would be. I guess this is one of the questions, Mr. Lady, that really has to be asked, that the transparency which is lacking in this entire process is really where the scandal started. That's probably where mistakes were made or things that were done wrong were done, and that continues to be why there are so many fingers being pointed. Why can't it be completely transparent? Why should it not be completely public? Who owns which stake? As Jay has now said he's willing to do, and if perhaps this had come out a little earlier, maybe some of the questions would have also been less.
That is what I am telling, that the BCCI should come forward and give the transparency that who is bidding for which team and how the money has come.
Mr. Lele was there for more than, and is still there in BCCI. Can Mr. Lele tell us why was BCCI not transparent under Mr. Jagmohan Dalmia when he was the secretary? They didn't even have a website. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, every other country has a website. They don't even have a website. A body worth more than 10,000 crores, a body which takes tax exemptions from the government of India, I don't know for what reason. If you are earning 10,000 crores and you say yourself to be a private body, you have no business, goddamn business to squander away with my public money. And also, how is it that BCCI is being granted? The government is equally at fault. Why is the government of India not withdrawing all these stadiums? If they can't be transparent, overnight BCCI can be made transparent. It is the will, political will, which is lacking. Tell them in unequivocal terms, tell BCCI, if you are not transparent and you're not accountable to every Indian citizen, for who are the key stakeholders because of which you earn your revenues.
Okay,
We will stop giving you free of cost security. There is going to be no tax exemptions. There is going to be no service tax exemptions. There is going to be no stadium for you to play on.
Okay, Mr. Is this complaint about lack of transparency as true about the BCCI as it is about the IPL?
And Vikram, just one point. There is a High Court and Supreme Court judgment, which is a contempt of court. High Court and Supreme Court judgment saying that they are key public functions.
Can you answer?
First thing is, when he says that 10,000 crores, there is no 10,000 crores with the BCCI.
Where is it?
It shows it that you don't have 10,000 crores. Come in the public domain.
Okay, let him answer now.
It's in the importance of the office.
When I was the secretary of the board, Mr. Dalmia was not there. When I was the secretary of the board, Mr. Dalmia was the ICC president. And Mr. Raj Singh Tungarpur and Dr. A.C. Muthaiya were the presidents.
Whoever were the presidents, the question is still about one of transparency.
And when they were there, the revenue was 10 crores. Today the revenue is 5,000 crores. Thank God they're not there.
Okay. The question of transparency.
We were totally transparent. According to me, everything was transparent.
Okay. Kishore Bhimani, let me turn to you now. As you sit in Kolkata, you just heard what Jay Mehta was saying, that all of this can be established and there's no problem. But let's face it, Kishore, there was a lack of transparency in the way all of this worked. There was obviously a lot of internal wheelings and dealings, a close set of friends, people calling up each other, SMSing each other, and doing all sorts of backroom dealings. How do you react to
May I
this?
preface my remarks, Vikram?
Yes.
Let me tell you one thing. Let me preface my remarks by saying that if it had not been for Affair Tharoor, it's a frightening thought that today money would have continued to be laundered, money would have continued to come from strange sources, planes would have continued to be diverted, you would have had a dictatorial regime continuing, nobody asking any questions. Where does the fault lie? Somebody has got to find out what the governing council was doing, but more than that, it is part of the BCCI. When it suits the IPL, it is part of the BCCI. When it does not suit, it is a separate body. Today, BCCI is being brought into disrepute in the cricketing world because IPL and BCCI are part of the same thing. What were the IT authorities and the enforcement directorate authorities doing for 3 years when all this was going on? Suddenly in 10 days, everybody has become wise, skeletons have come tumbling out of the cupboard, everyone said we knew everything, and yet there is only one letter I can think of written by one of the governing council members to a senior gentleman in the board saying that what is happening is not right. Now the fault lies beyond Lalit Modi somewhere else, that the whole lot of people should have shared this responsibility. As far as ownership is concerned, as it is in corporate governance, as it is in the board of directors of companies, if there is any shareholding, it has to be declared. And if it is not declared, the SEBI sits on you and says, please make a declaration. Now this is the point that was missed for 3 years, that somebody somewhere along the line should have said, I want to know more details about Cayman Islands, about Mauritius, about all these James Bond backgrounds that appear to be happening.
Yeah, and they're all very picturesque locations actually, British Virgin Islands, Mauritius. I'm sure somebody in the tax authorities would have loved to have gone there, done a full tour of everything and find out what's happening.
Yeah, they sent kids, there are so many other places like that. Yeah.
And they're all beautiful places. Many of them in the West Indies, good place for cricket as well. All right, Mr. Bhimani, we heard you. I just want to welcome Harish Salve now onto the program. Harish, who has of course been representing Lalit and the Modis for quite some time. And Harish, before we started, you were telling me that there are far bigger, worse, more horrible things which are out there. And we've heard that from Lalit Modi as well. So just in case someone's switching on the TV sets right now, Lalit Modi tweeting a little earlier in the day, wait for the IPL to finish. I will reveal the men who have tried to bring disrepute to the game and how we stop them from doing it. Now, Harish Salve, it's been your view that there are other conflicts of interest, not just what Lalit Modi might have been doing. Would you like to share with us some details on that?
Conflict of interest is Mr. Srinivasan, who is the secretary of the board or treasurer of the senior office bearer of the BCCI, and is also on the governing council, bid and obtained a team, and they had amended the BCCI rules to permit this. Now, if the rules permit the concerned managing officials to also acquire the teams, then at best what can be suggested against Lalit Modi is he has acquired it covertly, Srinivasan acquired it openly. So it makes all the difference. And Mr. Muthaiya has in fact challenged that rule and challenged this principle, saying if you are a sport governing body, if you are on the governing council, how can you go and participate in the bid You can't be both the monitor of the bid and a participatory of the bid. I mean, how is it, if the bid papers are all going to be open before you, you sit wear one hat as governing council, another hat as a bidder.
But I must tell you this. What Harish is saying is perfectly right. The point that you should know, that first IPL had taken place before 2008. And there was this point, 6.2.4, with that Harish is talking about, that you can't have any interest if you own a business. They had already had the first IPL before 2008. And subsequently, after Mr. Srinivasan had bought the Chennai team, Super King teams, it was changed subsequently to that in September 2008. So this thing was already done. And after afterthought, it was that they had changed it 6.2.4. Say that, Mr. Lele, am I right or wrong?
He doesn't
right or wrong? You don't know.
They're transparent. He doesn't.
Mr. Lele, hang on. You're saying that the charges that are being made, Mr. Srinivasan is not here. We had asked him to...
First season had finished already by that time. And then they changed it in 2008. So the committee...
So are there other improprieties that were done?
I am not aware of the constitutional change.
Never mind.
Okay. Fine. Harish, do you want to expand on this a little further? And of course, none of this would... The fact that there's something else that was done that was wrong doesn't rule out what Lalit Modi himself might have done, of course, which may have also been wrong.
Ultimately, Vikram, what are the stories being run? Modi has helped his friends to invest. Okay? There is an allegation that one investment is by Burman, who his stepdaughter is related to. Another allegation is that Chelarams have invested, who is through his wife he is related to. Let's take them at face value. I don't know whether they are true or false. Let's take them at face value. If there was nothing wrong in his openly buying a team, then there is nothing wrong in his getting a friend to buy a team. I mean, what is all this about? This whole thing is about conflict of interest and the manner in which the bids have been handled. Now, if the conflict of interest is permitted, then the credibility of the entire bidding process, in my opinion, gets compromised. And that's the real issue, and that is in Muthiah's...
It's a larger issue. The issue is there are these corporate czars who are trying to hijack cricket. The issue is that there is bad money which has been allegedly coming in. The issue is that there is completely no transparency. The issue is that the secretary out here, a person who has been in the board for 40 years, doesn't know his constitution. The issue is that wrong people at the right place are there. The issue is that there is money, and wherever there is money, politicians will follow. And the issue is that we, the people of India, have become cynics. We are cynical people.
Fine. Abbas,
जहाँ गुड़ होगा वहाँ मक्खी तो जाएगी जहाँ गुड़ होगा वहाँ मक्खी तो जाएगी
Okay. जहाँ गुड़ होगा वहाँ मक्खी जाएगी.
In a way, it's a natural process. There's so much money. A lot of people do get interested in it, and if I'm not against politicians coming into the game, but the only thing is that they should have the love of the game, some knowledge about the game, and then enter and try and bring something new to the cricketing horizon.
Well, of course, the other thing that happened in this case, a lot of film stars got into it, and somehow they seem to be getting it in the neck in the last few days. Whether it is the Rajasthan Royals team, whether it's KKR, whether it's the Kings 11 Punjab, all of them seem to be teams that have some linkages with film stars.
Vikram, it's a natural process. I'll tell you, in India, cricket is a religion, and film line is the line which was our source of entertainment. When this 2020 came in, obviously these two, if they mix, then we got the best entertainment. It's better entertainment than watching soap operas in the evening for 3 hours for the Indian public, as long as it's clean. Okay?
But that's, yes, absolutely.
But this was the best thing which could have happened to India. All right? And also I like to say similar things have happened in American baseball. There have been
dealings,
there have been scandals, but they have all been sorted out ultimately. Please don't forget that BCCI was one of the best run institutions in this country in sports. Money has come
because there's no competition. Every other sporting agency is not even worth talking about. Okay. And all of them are being run by politicians, each one of them.
Okay. He is talking law, I am talking cricket. Okay, I am talking as a cricketer. I know very well that BCCI is today dominating world cricket. We used to see, Kirti would vouch with me, that England used to dominate.
Yes, we are dominating in corruption, dominating in lack of transparency,
but this has happened,
dominating in non-accountability.
One minute. This has happened because of all of our cricketing spectators, because of the money coming
exactly,
in.
But how? But I want as an administrator, what have you done for the key stakeholder, which is the public of India? Have you given them hygienic toilets in the stadium? Can senior citizens go out there? Can women go out there without being felt? Can anything happen in the stadium? Can anybody get inside and come outside the stadium?
BCCI money. I mean,
do we have F&B which is worth eating?
1 minute.
I mean, what has they done?
On certain issues.
You agree with everything, but BCCI is great.
No, what I'm trying to say is that in last 2 years, we have got more than 8 to 10 crores coming in all state associations.
Excuse me, even if IPL wasn't there, money was there. And they weren't able to spend the money. 75% of it has to go back.
Rahul,
they are not able to spend the money even despite the IPL.
Rahul, one sec. Now you have to give somebody a chance to reply.
I'm not protecting BCCI. I'm talking what has happened. Stadiums have come in all states. Nagpur has got a new stadium. Hyderabad has got a new stadium.
Only structures.
No, they are very well.
All stadiums are good and all the facilities are available.
Excellent.
What he is talking about
in the 1,000,
I've been for an IPL match. I wouldn't have liked to use it.
I have always been to corporate boxes. They are fantastic.
And
they are the best. They are like 5-star hotels.
Let Mr. Levy
Talk
speak
about
now.
the 49,000.
Rahul, can somebody else speak for a change? Thanks.
40,000 or 50,000 people are watching the cricket match.
But not in
all the
comfortable
stadiums.
surroundings. But not necessarily in very comfortable surroundings.
They are comfortable.
Have they ever has Mr. Levy ever gone down to the 100 rupee ticket stand?
Okay.
He would be sitting in his air-conditioned room and watching the match.
Okay, one sec. Can I just 1 sec? We are talking about film stars getting into it, but a short while back, Preeti Zinta spoke exclusively to NDTV, and we did ask her this question whether she thought that the teams that are particularly being targeted are the ones that are linked to film stars, and for some reason or the other. This is what Preeti had to say.
Do you find it a coincidence that the 3 teams that the income tax sources say are under investigation are in a sense all connected to the film industry? I mean, I was wondering about that. Do you see any pattern in that?
Oh, I didn't think of it like that, but I guess we're not big corporates to go one smack on anybody.
That's very cynical.
Maybe we bring more eyeballs. I don't know. I can't speak for anybody, but I do know that, Shah Rukh is pretty straight. I've worked for years with him. I don't think he'd do any kind of, as they say, go cheat. And whatever I know of Shilpa, but anyway, I can't make comments like that. But I guess the fastest way to get eyeballs is through actors. But that's me being unfair.
Okay, I'm going to take a very quick break at this point. What does the audience make of all of this? I think one of the points that was raised is at the end of the day, if cricket survives, if the BCCI does well, if the IPL does well, all of that money comes because the people of India love the game of cricket. Are the people of India being shortchanged somewhere in all of this? I think that's the fundamental question that we have to ask, and we'll ask that and turn to the people of India when we come back after this. Welcome back to the Big Five. Well, the people of the country love the game of cricket. Are they being shortchanged by all that is happening? The sordid revelations that seem to be coming out of the IPL, and as Rahul said, the way the BCCI in general has been handling the game. Let me just turn to the audience out here and get them in this one. Wait, hang on. Can I just do some completely unscientific snap polling out here? How many people think that IPL has been run badly and that Lalit Modi has probably done something wrong? Not that many people think that Lalit Modi has done something wrong. That's quite interesting. How many people think he's going to be made the scapegoat? Okay. How many people think that the BCCI has done a good job of looking after cricket? This is very interesting, but this is the one gentleman out there, right? Why do you think they're all being unfair to the BCCI?
Well, the BCCI, as far as IPL is concerned, in fact, though IPL is a part of BCCI, but they were not directly involved into this IPL part.
No, they were.
As far as I understand.
President is a member.
Second,
the governing council, of course.
Yeah, but if you see the record of BCCI over the year, in fact, what one of the secretary of Rajasthan mentioned, in fact, you see today what BCCI is, they were not 10 years back, in fact. We have power now. Earlier, Australians, England board, in fact, they used to govern the international cricket. Now, at least we have some say internationally, in fact.
Power corrupts, power corrupts absolutely. वो प्रॉब्लम अभी हो रहा है बीसीसीआई में.
Okay, before I get back to the audience and I really don't want to transform this into a BCCI bashing thing, although that is what might happen on Monday. Kishore Bhimani, let me just get you in. This entire question of how cricket is being run, cricket is not being run. Do you think this is something that is going to feature at all? The running of cricket is going to feature at all in how this scandal plays itself out? Or is there essentially now going to be BCCI making efforts to sack Lalit Modi doing his bit to get revenge, all out spat on Monday, and then at the end of the day we'll all forget about it?
Vikram, let's get back to your original point. You said about is the Indian or cricket-loving public being shortchanged? The answer is an emphatic no. Look what they're getting, that the bang for their buck is amazing. They're getting, each time they go to see a match, they're not just getting entertainment. I don't call it cricket, this is entertainment. They're getting entertainment, they're getting scandal, they're getting gossip, they're getting so much more action. Now what is going to happen is that BCCI and the governing council is going to have to decide A, that we have to carry on with IPL because it's a huge brand. We'll have to do it without Modi. B, C, we'll have to try and get, the entire world focus has been on India on the IPL issue, the whole advertising budgets and so on. We've got a huge brand. Now this is going to occupy the minds of the big brass, the top brass of BCCI. I hope to God that in the process cricket doesn't suffer, because cricket has suffered a lot with the IPL, which is pure entertainment. It's an entertainment of a kind that is fine. People are paying 1,400, 1,800 rupees a ticket in Calcutta, 6,000 rupees for the clubhouse, 32,000 rupees to sit with the film stars, and this kind of money was unheard of. We can see 300 to 400 rupees, we can see a 5-day test match. So all this is going to be on the anvil now. People are going to think, do we want this to continue? And if the IPL brand is to continue, will it continue in a manner that it does not hurt cricket?
Vikram, that's the point. The ticket, 400, 10,000, 15,000, 40,000. And 150 rupees in a commercial center where you go for a movie, you get what? The best of food, centrally air-conditioned surroundings, excellent seating. You love to go and you come back after watching a movie in a multiplex. Can't they create that? Can't they create that with 10,000 or 5,000 crores for in every stadium? Can't they?
Okay, Kirti, just tell us what you think is going to, I'm just trying to now figure out what's going to happen. Where is the next wave of this particular scandal headed to? What do you think is going to happen on Monday, and do you think at some point the focus is going to get back on cricket?
See, first of all, I'd like to straight away say this program is, cricket is not bad. The ones who run it are bad. And the way the things have come out in the...
And do you think it's bad, it's wrong then that so many politicians have got into running cricket?
I agree halfway, and I don't agree the other half. It's not necessary that a good cricketer or good sportsman could be a good administrator. It's neither true that a good administrator can be a good sports person. But if you have an administrator, that fellow, if a politician, not fellow, the politician, can spend so much time in his constituency looking after his constituents, even if he gives 10% of that time, you won't have things like what has happened in IPL.
Fine.
You can't just...
Cricket is entirely being run by politicians right now.
I agree with you. But nobody has time. It's free publicity, my dear friend. If you have to go for a program, if some big leader is coming to my constituency, I have to arrange 10,000 buses, I have to arrange 50,000 people to come there and show what kind of strength I have. Here you have to simply sit in the stadium, you get the mola, you get the money, you get the publicity, you get everything, and it's all for free.
Eyeballs.
It's just simple as that. So my this thing is, it should be brought to a logical conclusion. The simple thing is that the way we had the match fixing issue, which was brushed under the carpet, shouldn't happen. Dr. Soni said it's like a religion. Yes, I do agree. The way you find these religious babas becoming big babas and getting involved into sex scandal, and same way these people have become, the cricket being a religion, they are all like big babas raping the game of cricket. That has to stop.
Raping the game of cricket. Do you agree with that, and do you agree with that perspective of what's happening to cricket?
I still think BCCI will come out clean in this.
Surely.
Let him speak.
BCCI will come out clean. IPL maybe, I don't know what is going to happen, but at the same time,
Mr. Lele, IPL is a subcommittee of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, with your Honorable President Shri Shashank Manohar is also a member of that.
And Srinivasan also there, and the entire office bearers, all of them are there.
Everyone please give Mr. Lele a chance to speak at some point. Mr. Lele, now I'm giving you the floor, and I will come and personally shout down anybody who interrupts you. So please tell us, how is the BCCI going to deal with this? Because I'll tell you what seems to be happening right now. The BCCI is saying, look, we don't know what is happening. This IPL is a total mess. There were scandals, corruption, all sorts of ghastly things was happening. It's all Lalit Modi's fault. He ran it like a dictator, and we're going to kick him out on Monday, and suddenly the sun will shine, and there'll be rainbows, and everything will be cleaned up.
I am 100% confident that on Monday there will be a solution to this problem, and the board will come out clean. Matches will be played. People will enjoy the game.
Will come out clean. I am the only cricketer who is trying to run an association in behalf, and I don't get a position.
No, hang on.
I am 100% sure that everything will be okay. And what he said, almost all the stadiums, I don't know about Delhi because I have not seen the match there.
Why did you say
every other
Delhi? We never said anything about Delhi, did we?
Yeah. And let me just say this. Vikram, just 2 seconds.
You will never speak for 2 seconds.
Just listen.
For 2 seconds for the last 3 hours.
Listen to the CBI in 2000, what did they say? And this is going to be repeated on Monday. In conclusion, this is the match fixing report. In conclusion, BCCI has been negligent in not preventing match fixing and related match practices in cricket. In spite of clear signals about malice, this is mainly due to the fact that most office bearers of BCCI running the board is an end in itself, and the future of cricket is only incidental.
Okay.
It perhaps
get somebody else a chance.
Just last, it perhaps lies in the making of the functioning of BCCI more professional, transparent, and accountable to a non-bureaucratic body.
Fine, thank you. I'm just switching your mic off. Abhshek, what do you hope is going to happen on Monday? And what is probably going to happen on Monday is that Lalit Modi is going to get sacked and he's going to come out with a whole bunch of revelations. What do you hope is going to happen?
Well, I think Monday will be just the beginning. I think we have to look a little further on than that. And what the finance minister has said, I hope it comes through and the whole thing is cleaned up. And then I think the IPL being such a wonderful product long times, and I think that will survive. Under whose leadership, whose guidance, we'll have to wait and see.
How far do you think the rot has actually gone? We've also heard allegations or rumors or whispers about things as sordid as match fixing of the game, as obviously proxy holdings, kickbacks, slush money, all sorts of charges have come up. How many of those do you think are true and how many are not?
But I'm not quite sure how much. There must be something to it. I'm sure there must be. There's no smoke without fire.
Yes.
So there's got to be
something.
Including
on the possibility of match fixing?
Gambling has always been there. In what sort of form it happens depends on the situation.
Gambling is one thing, match fixing is another. Kishore Bhimani, do you think match fixing is a possibility, or do you think that's something which you think is extremely unrealistic?
Vikram, can I be candid?
Yes.
I think this whole match fixing bogey is entirely ridiculous. Gambling is one thing. Betting on cricket in Ladbrokes tent or William Hill tent in Lords, anywhere in the world, in South Africa, we were watching the IPL, we were watching one-day matches, test matches. You could bet on anything, which is a totally different story from match fixing. Today, to fix a match is one of the most difficult things on earth. There are 11 players, just one of them talks, one of them goes out of hand, and your entire plan is revealed. The history of match fixing has never been adequately written. Yes, we talked about Hansi Kronia, yes, we talked about Salim Malik, but the whole problem is that today Rashid Latif, Qasim Omar and these people who made accusations, it is a very difficult thing to...
Again, there's no... I know nothing. You see, match fixing, what he's talking about, I agree with him. You can't do as a team, but as an individual, you can. I mean, simple as that. I have 5 friends sitting in the evening. Let me complete. Vikram, let me complete. 5 of us sitting in the evening. I'm a cricketer. I'm a guy who's got a regular, place in the side, and 4 of them say, well, fair enough, give you a couple of crores of rupees and you get out early, get a couple of people run out. I can do that because I can guarantee a bad performance, but I can't guarantee a good one in cricket. You don't know what's going to happen in the next ball. So, individually, it can happen. There is quite a lot of possibility, and if you ask me personally, I feel that at some point of time it has taken place. I can't prove it because you can't simply prove next morning somebody becomes a whistleblower. Yeah, it could have. I mean, for all that matter, if somebody turns into a whistleblower, how does it prove?
Individuals. Match fixing as a team cannot take place.
Okay,
Mr. Format.
Match fixing in Indian cricket is out of question. I want to give my opinion and views.
Can we hear his experience?
See, Indian team comprises of say 15 people, and in 15 people there are about 7 to 8 different languages are spoken.